Now, I know the media has told me all about the American-style freedom lovers that are rising up all around the globe. And it's crazy to say, that they want anything else. It's crazy to say the radicals and the Islamists and the communists and socialists, we'll work together. And then the protests will become contagious and they'll cascade and sweep the Middle East, begin to destabilize Europe and the rest of the world. It's crazy. It's crazy. It's even crazier to think that some of those same freedom lovers want to bring their ideas here to America because they just love us so dearly. Well, I've just told you about the communists and socialists and the radicals that are all teaming together for the American Dream rallies done by the socialists, the unions, and Van Jones. But there's another couple of rallies that you need to know about. First one is happening on July 4th. First one I want to tell you about. It's this. It is the 1 Million Man March. Do we have it here? Yeah, here it is. The 1 Million Muslims March. One God, one Ummah, one march. Okay? This apparently is happening on July 4th in order to begin the healing after 9/11. First of all, 10 years later, thanks, guys. Second of all, the rally is being organized by a guy who helped found CARE and a 9/11 truther. How does healing begin when the guy organizing this rally doesn't think Muslims did it? There's also another rally. This one is on this Thursday. Now, this is being led by this guy, who's great. No, seriously, you recognize him? You've seen him on Sean Hannity? He's the guy who says Americans are the biggest criminals in the world. And under his version of Sharia law, anyone who becomes intoxicated by alcohol would be given 40 lashes in public. People who commit adultery would be stoned to death. Every woman, Muslim or non-Muslim, would have to wear a burqa and cover their face and their hands. But forget about that. That's just a distraction from the real heartfelt pro-American focus of the rally and the great American groups organizing it, like this one. But don't worry, it's got an American flag in it, so it's got to be okay. Sharia for America. That's it. You see here underneath Sharia for America, here's, it looks like this is on fire or somehow or another being taken over. And this says, a call for revolution. Fantastic. Fantastic. Here it is. There's the website. We hereby call upon the Muslims in the U.S., particularly in New York, Michigan, Chicago, and Washington, D.C., to take lessons from their Muslim brothers and sisters in North Africa and the Middle East and rise to implement the Sharia in America. Do you think this is not the moment that I've been saying for 5 years? And at one point, America will be so weak that the enemies all around the world will say, now, go, go, go. What is that? Also, the rally is being organized by the Islamic Thinkers Society. This guy and the Islamic Thinkers Society, an American Muslim group based here in New York who can't wait for Sharia law in America. They even have created couple of things here. This is the structure of the Khalifa, which is the caliphate that, of course, remember, is nuts. Here it is. This is how the structure works. You're down, well, you're not even on the chart. So infidels will understand the structure of the Khalifa. That would be a crazy conspiracy theory, right? Two sound nothing alike. Khalifa and caliphate. What? Besides, our Justice Department says there's no such thing as radical Islam. It doesn't work. It doesn't happen. And the Muslim Brotherhood is just a bunch of secular guys who want to hang out and play poker or something. Stop worrying. Go back to sleep. Stop listening to that Glenn Beck guy on faux news. Clearly, there is no movement here. None whatsoever. Not a single person who wants a caliphate or wants the caliphate flag to fly over the... That's from these guys. Don't worry about it. By the way, so far, they haven't filed for a permit application. They're supposed to be Thursday in front of the White House. Well, they don't have a permit from the National Park Service, but maybe they're just waiting to get a union leader to help them out with that. There is a propaganda war that is beginning now, and I don't believe that it is intended to actually reap anything from the harvest for a while, until gas prices go up or your food prices or more people lose their jobs. It will be important that you know the truth now. Our old friend Van Jones has been talking about the American dream a lot lately, which is interesting coming from a unrepentant communist. He even organized a nationwide rally to promote it over the weekend. It's an expression we're all pretty comfortable with, right? The American dream. But we should probably define the American dream, because what's happening now is another progressive hijacking. The American dream that you dream about is the same opportunity for all. Give me a shot. That's what Martin Luther King talked about. Give me a chance. Progressives have made it about the same outcome for all. Al Sharpton recently said it. That's what Martin Luther King's dream was. The same stuff in everybody's house. Houses for all, guaranteed jobs for all, guaranteed food and income for all. Well, that's not the American dream I think most Americans even recognize. That's so far beyond a progressive dream. But how has that progressive dream worked out so far? Fortunately for America, who has to choose, we have numerous examples of the kind of dream progressive policies lead to. I want to show you this city. Tell me what city you think this is. You recognize it? I'll give you one clue and you won't believe it. It's a city that, rumor had it, would be uninhabitable for centuries to come because of radiation. This is Hiroshima. August 6, 1945, an atomic bomb completely destroyed almost 70% of the buildings. And by the end of the year, up to 140,000 had died. Look at the city then. Almost half of the city's population in total died. Some 200,000 or more would eventually die from the effects. Now, look at Hiroshima today. It's not the wreckage. What happened? Well, people decided that they weren't going to allow their city to be destroyed forever. Yes, the government came in and helped rebuild the city, but what else could have rebuilt from that destruction? They needed help from the government, but it was the people embracing the free market system that revitalized Hiroshima. Now, it's Hiroshima. Let me show you another city. Here's a city that when Hiroshima looked like it did in destruction, this city looked like this. It was thriving. It's Detroit, Michigan. But take a look at Detroit today. One city embraced the free market system and the entrepreneurial spirit. The other embraced progressive policies and corrupt government and unions and companies that weren't allowed to fail. And they should have failed because they stunk on ice. They begged for a bailout and got one. And the union bosses did their share too. Whereas Hiroshima has nearly quadrupled in size since the attack. Not so much with Detroit. Less than 50% of Detroit's peak population of 1.8 million in 1950 still live in the city. 36% of Detroit's residents live in poverty. Detroit's poverty rate is more than double than that as the entire U.S. as a whole. 81% of Detroit's public school students qualified for free and reduced price lunches in 2009. 81%. As far as education, about 42% of Detroit's public school students don't even graduate. Half. Now, the problem for the left is they can't say, oh, Detroit inherited this problem from the big evil George Bush. These are the failed policies of his corporate cronies and the fat cat rich friends. Really? Democrats have been in power for Detroit for over 50 years. No, Mr. Beck, it was the big three auto corporations that ruled Detroit. That's what killed Motown. I want you to know that those companies sucked. But it had nothing to do with Democratic policies or corruption, like that of convicted former Mayor Kwame Kilpatrick. And it had certainly nothing to do with the unions there. Right. The unions were only there for the workers. Well, no, not according to Richard Trumka, the head of the AFL-CIO. He cares about you? Watch.
I got into the labor movement not because I wanted to negotiate wages. I got into the labor movement because I saw it as a vehicle to do massive social change to improve the lots of people. That's why I got into the labor movement.
So it's not about your wages. It's about the progressive ideas. He believes in those ideas. Oh, you can blame Ford and GM. They're bad corporate policies. And those policies, because of the progressives, weren't allowed to reset. Nobody allowed them to fail. Bad policies and union deals helped rot this city from the core. This is the path, America, that we are now embracing. We are embracing now a country that loves corruption, special favors, union deals and big unions, and bailing out businesses that should have failed because they were run poorly. This city did what our country is doing now, embracing all the policies that led to this. But it doesn't have to be this way. But you, the citizen, the shareholder in the United States of America, has to make the choice. Our founders said that you could not live in a country and have freedom if the citizenry was uninformed. A lot of people say that what I tell you is just nothing but lies. I encourage you every night, do your own homework. You must be informed. We have to stop the corruption. We have to convince the American people that what happened in Detroit and cities like it can happen here in America and will. And we have to know and be able to show them the proof of who it was that led those cities there.